25th of September 1711. Emperor Qianlong was born, and his six-decade reign began from 1735 to 1796 during the Qing or Manchu dynasty, and was one of the longest in Chinese history. Qianlong, whose original name Hongli, had one of the longest reigns in Chinese history. He conducted a series of military campaigns that eliminated the Turk and Mongol threats to northeastern China from 1755 to 1760. He enlarged his empire by creating the new province, the present-day Uyghur Autonomous Region of Xinjiang, and reinforced Chinese authority in the south and east. Hongli was given a carefully planned education, including the teachings of the eminent scholar Fu Min. He then was initiated into affairs of state, and in 1733 was made a prince of the first degree. He ascended the throne on October 18, 1735, at the age of 24, and was to rule under the regnal title of Qianlong for more than 60 years. Nearly 6 feet tall, Qianlong was of slender build with an upright bearing that he kept even in old age. His various constitution and love of the outdoors was widely admired. In private life, Qianlong was deeply attached to his first wife, the Empress Xian. Qianlong had 17 sons and 10 daughters by his concubines. During the reign of the Qianlong Emperor, China attained its maximum territorial expanse. Xinjiang in the west was conquered, and Myanmar and Annam in the south were forced to recognize Chinese sovereignty. Commerce continued to thrive. Handicraft industries prospered, and painting, printmaking, and porcelain manufacture flourished. Qianlong placed high value on the arts, and his reign is a golden era for the development of sculpture and art. Qianlong famously rebuffed the British by writing to King George III in 1793. Here is an excerpt of that letter. If you assert that your reverence for our celestial dynasty fills you with a desire to acquire our civilization, our ceremonies and code of laws differ so completely from your own that, even if your envoy were able to acquire the rudiments of our civilization, you could not possibly transplant our manners and customs to your alien soil. Therefore, however adept the envoy might become, nothing would be gained thereby. It behooves you, O King, to respect my sentiments and to display an even greater devotion and loyalty in future, so that, by perpetual submission to our throne, you may secure peace and prosperity for your country hereafter. September 1905. Actress Greta Garbo, who was best known for her portrayals of strong-willed heroines, most of them as compellingly enigmatic as herself, was born in Stockholm, Sweden. Greta Garbo was arguably the quintessential embodiment of Hollywood's golden age, a beautiful, glamorous, and above all, mysterious image carefully cultivated by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the sole studio she would work for during her American film career. Touted as the Swedish Sphinx by MGM upon her arrival in Hollywood, Garbo immediately became one of silent film's most popular actresses in such features as The Torrent in 1926, Flesh and the Devil in 1927, and Love 1927. Unlike many silent film actors, her popularity increased with the introduction of sound, as her sultry, accented voice added to her allure as a cinema sex symbol. Born in poverty in Stockholm, Sweden, Garbo was an astute businesswoman, in addition to maintaining a mysterious aura. Greta's early life was full of tragedy. Desperately poor, the family were constantly on the verge of destitution. When Greta was 14, her father became seriously ill, and each day for a year she would accompany him to a sanitarium where he received tortuous treatment, all in vain, as he died that year. She was devastated, and as she was very close to her father. Needing an income for the family, Greta got a job at a department store where she featured in an advertising program. Through this, she was able to gain a position at the Swedish Royal Dramatic Theatre's acting school.
I'm not worth killing, Anna. I've loved you as much as I could love. If that wasn't enough. Ebba, come in.
Now, don't dally, Your Majesty. You have a busy day.
Morning, Ebba. What are you doing up so early?
I couldn't sleep.
That means you're either happy or unhappy. Which is it?
Happy.
I'm glad. And what makes you so happy?
Oh, no reason.
How wonderful to be happy for no reason.
Let's go for a sleigh ride.
I can't now.
Oh, why not?
Ambassadors, treaties, councils.
How boring.
But we go on.
Garbo and John Gilbert, her co-star in many films, were to be married. What was actually supposed to be a double wedding with director King Vidor and his fiancée, Eleanor Boardman. However, Gilbert was in for a brutal surprise. Garbo got cold feet and backed out at the very last minute. While Garbo later said that while she did actually love him, probably the most candid admission she'd ever made, that she froze when it came time to get married. Garbo walked away, and Gilbert was left with a broken heart. She never did marry, but had many relationships with both men and women. The last word about Garbo's intriguing life was that a former British spy told in 1976 how Garbo had assisted the British in naming Swedish Nazi sympathisers. September 1946. Delayed because of World War II, the first Cannes Film Festival began, and it became one of cinema's major annual events. 21 countries presented their films at the first Cannes International Film Festival, which took place at the former Casino of Cannes. Only 1 year after the end of World War II, most of the films were about the war. There arose several technical issues, such as the tarpaulin cover blowing away in a storm on the day before the winners were to be announced, the reels of Alfred Hitchcock's Notorious shown in reverse order, and Miguel M. Delgado's The Three Musketeers projected upside down. 18 nations presented films. 11 of them tied first for the Grand Prix prize. The Cannes Film Festival was to begin in 1939, and it was a reaction by the French to the 1938 Venice Film Festival, where results were changed due to pressure from Hitler and Mussolini. This resulted in a Nazi propaganda film winning over other entries. The festival was to take place from 1st of September through to the 30th of September. Artists and producers had arrived and enjoyed sumptuous banquets, and then Germany invaded Poland on the 1st of September. War was declared and mobilisation began, making the festival dead in the water. There was one private screening, the American film Quasimodo by William Dieter. The first Cannes Film Festival in 1946 introduced the entire world to Italian cinema and its neo-realism. The rise of a new generation of filmmakers was not to the liking of the people at the ministry who were in charge of making the selections, but films by these young auteurs quickly gained ground. The festival contributed to the discovery of cinemas that were relatively unknown in Europe, although there were doubts as to the jury's objectivity given certain diplomatic agreements. As you view the list of winners and entries, you will see a wide range of films from various countries, from the subcontinent to Europe to the New World. The Cannes Film Festival brought to the world new genres and new artists. Well, that's it, my friends. We've come to the end of This Week with Terry. Please, if you've enjoyed this episode, press the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Reminisce with Terry.